Welcome students. I am Dr. Onimezde from Allied Health Science Department. In the last video, I have discussed about the microscopic anatomy of long bone. In that video, I have mentioned the specific terms for histological structure of long bone. The gross anatomy of a long bone consists of two parts. In your practical class, you have drawn the structure of long bone and labeled that diagram. If you have remembered the terms, you have used two important marks, diaphysis and epiphysis, for the drawing of long bone. Actually, a typical long bone structure is divided into two parts, diaphysis and epiphysis. Diaphysis is located at the diameter region of a long bone. The maximum part of a long bone consists of diaphysis. The two end parts of a bone is termed as epiphysis, which are ends of the bone. So, if I ask what is the difference between diaphysis and epiphysis, what should you say? Diaphysis is the shaft of a bone. Shaft means the wider part or elongated part, whereas epiphysis is the end of the bone. The terminal part of long bone is called epiphysis. There are two epiphyses. Number two, if we consider the structural part of diaphysis and epiphysis, in case of diaphysis, it is composed of compact bone. I have already discussed what is compact bone and spongy bone in the last video. Compact bone is the external part where the composition of a long bone is homogeneous, whereas internal part of a long bone is porous in nature. Why? Because this porous area is the area of blood circulation and other substances. As the diaphysis is the external part, here compactness of the bone is more, whereas at the epiphyseal region or end part, porous cavitation are formed. Here in this diagram, you can observe the epiphyseal region. The cross-sectional part of the epiphysis composed of spongy bone, whereas diaphysis is more compact, and diaphysis region is composed of Haversian system, Faulkner system, and other connections. In the proximal epiphysis region, the cartilage and connection between other bone is developed. The external part of the bone surface is called periosteum. Thus, a gross anatomical feature of long bone consists of two parts, diaphysis and epiphysis. Epiphysis is the proximal part. There are two epiphyseal parts, and diaphysis is the shaft or wideness of the bone structure. If we consider the external feature, the outside covering of the diaphysis is called periosteum. It consists of fibrous connective tissue membrane which covers the overall shaft region. There are another important component which is present at the surface of the long bone, which is called Sharpey's fiber. You should remember the term. What is Sharpey's fiber? It is located within the long bone. This is important for MCQ question. Sharpey's fiber is the internal part of the periosteum. This is mainly connective tissues. Connective tissues are important for alignment of the periosteum towards the compact bone. This surface fiber is connected with both compact bone interiorly and at the external surface with the periosteum. And third part of the long bone is arteries. Arteries are connected to the periosteum, which is responsible for blood circulation. Thus, in the last video, I have discussed about the histological structure, and in this video, I have discussed about the overall anatomical gross structure. I repeat, the gross anatomy of long bone consists of two parts, epiphysis and diaphysis. Epiphyses are the ends of the bone, diaphyses are the extended portion of the bone. Diaphysis region is covered by periosteum, which is the outside layering or covering membrane. A periosteum and compact bone is connected with surface fiber, which is actually connective tissues for the attachment of periosteum and compact bone. And the last part is the arterial connections, which is responsible for maintenance of the nutrients, oxygen supply towards the bone. This is the overall completion of the structure of long bone. In the next video, I will discuss the other types of bone in briefly. Long bone is the most important topic for your syllabus. Histological structure of long bone, anatomical structure of long bone, you have to remember carefully. The other bone types, short bones, flat bones, are not very much important for your aspect. This is another important video, another important photography where you can see the overall structure, which I have already discussed. And the inner surface of the long bone is the presence of red bone marrow and yellow bone marrow. At the end of the epiphyseal plate, which is connected with another bones, which are the important area for spongy bones, space containing spongy bones. Within the compact bone, blood circulation occurs throughout the spongy bone and compact bone. Within the compact bone, there is the presence of both red bone marrow and yellow bone marrow. Generally, red bone marrow is more pronounced within the spongy bone at the epiphyseal region. Another important point to be noted that as long bones are responsible for growth and development of the body, epiphyseal length and diaphysis length is under control of growth hormone. Growth hormone directly influence the development and growth of both epiphysis and diaphysis. At the adolescence period, when growth process is stopped for human being, there is a formation of epiphyseal plate at the end regions. These epiphyseal plates block the continuous growth process. This is the end of long bone structure. Thank you.